I love that we stole that. I love
Thank you
that we
guys.
stole.
That's like a very beautiful thing. Honestly. I like
Right?
Feel
that a lot.
oxygenated.
Yeah, you feel a little bit high, but not like that high, you know? How is everybody?
Ready.
Good. Honestly,
Yeah.
again, so I told you guys that I'm feeling a little under the weather. I feel like I've been kind of pushing myself past the limit, the past couple of weekends. So this is now where my body's literally punishing me for doing it. But I am here today because I'm really excited about talking about astrology. I think that's something that, Gabe, you've known me to be very interested in. And
A little bit,
I'm also
yeah,
really excited.
when we were much younger.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because I've learned now that my cousin's also really into this too. So
Yes.
I'm surprised. So, Gabe, you didn't know much about it, even though Dawn was like versed in it. You didn't ask questions.
I know the basics, okay? Like, I remember Zim 100, the Z Morning Zoo, right? They have that, like, I don't know if it's like an Asian dude or whatever, but he'll do the daily horoscopes, right? Back in the day when you were in the car, right? That's all I know. And I only knew my sign. But compared to Don, when we were in college, I felt like he was bringing it up a lot. Not like it was annoying or anything. I just remember him doing that.
Yeah, it's not common that guys tend to be into it, actually.
Okay. All right. I know a lot of guys into it, though. I'm kind of into it now. It's a little bit fucked up because every time that we've been talking about it week after week, I have been doing a little bit of my own ghetto research. And I'm really, really excited for today.
Yes, I'm excited to go over your guys' charts too, because maybe it'll help, guide you, and you guys will be successful millionaires that get married in like 1 year. No,
That's so fucked up, but yes.
I mean, okay, so let me just get into the nitty gritty of it. Like, I've liked astrology for, everyone tries to find like some truth or understanding about themselves, right? And whether or not you truly drink the Kool-Aid about like astrology, I feel like there are things that you kind of get out from it. There's different types of astrology. There's like Western astrology, where we have like, again, Taurus, Cancer, Capricorn, Scorpio, yada, yada, yada.
I have so many questions.
Eastern astrology, which includes like, the Chinese zodiac, pretty much in that way, or something similar to that or akin to that, right? I felt like it was a good thing for me to kind of be like self-reflective on myself, but also a really great conversation piece, especially when you're trying to talk to girls. So yeah,
they love that shit.
Part of me kind of drawn into that.
Especially that,
look,
yes.
It's not like,
Me too.
I'm being very honest. It's not like a completely like selfless thing. A part of me was like really interested in knowing this stuff, because if I'm going tit for tat with somebody who is going to talk about astrology, then I have to be ready for that. And not just that, but I feel like as a Scorpio, it is just part of my sign.
There you go.
You are a Scorpio.
Whenever I let people know I'm a Scorpio, I feel like, two things happen. Either they're like, oh, you're a freak, which I'm quoting literally one of our friends from our last episode. And then my other reaction that I get from people is that, really? You're a Scorpio? You don't come off as a Scorpio. And I think that's kind of the cool part about it, which, I think it's an excellent segue for my cuz to kind of dive into it, because she now knows or has the keys to my full astrology chart.
Yes. I know your whole, what time you were born. So if anyone's asking you where and what time you're born, you know exactly what they're up to. But yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about astrology. It's like, you can know a whole bunch of the same sign, and each and every one of them act differently. And you're kind of just like, and each different person acts differently from each other. So you're just, sometimes you question if astrology is real, right? Because you're just wondering how come it's not textbook. Being a Scorpio, you definitely would be into that kind of stuff, because Scorpios in general, they're just into that whole like psychology, like deep layers, taboo, kind of occult kind of stuff. So it's definitely right up your alley, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Don just likes to know shit. That's his thing. That's his problem. He always knew a lot of shit growing up. That's what I remember.
I'm a little too much of like my head's always like, the gears are turning, and there are moments where I legit just wish to turn it off, because like my brain's always like thinking and trying to like learn things, and just needs like consistent stimulation. It's kind of a bad thing.
It's not actually. Well, that's what I was trying to say before, that you were always just smart. Dawn was always smart. So let's talk about where that comes from.
Where does that come from?
So when people talk about your big three, What are they talking about, right?
Okay.
So everyone knows their sun sign. That's basically based on the date that you were born.
Got you.
And that's the main one that everyone tends to know. So your sun sign is basically your true personality, your ego, your identity, what you're meant to follow throughout your whole life and like lean into. Your ascendant, which is a part of your big three, or also known as your rising, your rising, yes. So don't get confused because people will be like, wait, is ascendant and rising the same thing?
Yes, it is. There you go.
Yes,
Let's go. We're still here, girl. Come on now.
I gave so excited. So your rising is not as much your true self. It's more so, you'll hear this all the time, the mask that you wear. It's how you approach the world. It is somewhat a part of your personality, but it's not what drives you like your sun. It's how you kind of manage the outside world. So the thing about Don is that his rising is in Gemini.
Okay.
So the thing about Geminis, right, is they're very intellectual. They're very versed in many topics. They're very communicative. They're just known to be, I don't want to just say smarty pants because they delve into so many different topics and they can talk about all of it. Now, does that mean they know the depth of everything? Maybe not. I'm not calling you dumb, though. I'm just saying. But they're just definitely very curious individuals.
Yes.
So the way that they'll come off is very chatty, like I said, very smart, versed in many topics. They're also very socially adaptable.
Okay.
So that's the thing about him being a Gemini and his sun being a Scorpio. So it's like Scorpios can be reclusive sometimes, right? They can be mysterious. But why is it that Don doesn't seem mysterious? It's because of his rising. That's very socially adaptable. That has a lot of play in it. Now, the third placement that's important that people talk about at Big Three is your moon sign. So your moon sign is basically your inner world, your secret world. I mean, your emotions, everything that has to do with the inside.
His heart of hearts.
The heart of hearts, exactly. So, someone who's a Gemini, they're a part of the air sign, so they're very mental, but the moon sign has everything to do with your emotions. So someone who's like very, I guess, a little bit detached, deep inside, they could be very deep because of their moon sign.
What is Don's moon sign?
So Don's moon sign is an Aries.
Oh.
That's actually interesting. So they're ruled by Mars, and they're actually very impulsive. They can be a little bit bossy. I don't think Don's bossy, but they're very like action oriented. They're go-getters. So when you have a kind of personality like that in a moon sign that has to do with your emotions, basically the way that he likes to approach things with the emotions, he just likes to go for it. I don't want to say that they're explosive, but being that Aries is ruled by Mars, which is like the warrior kind of planet, it can be a little bit volatile sometimes. Maybe not to others, but maybe to themselves, maybe their own inner dialogue.
Oh my God.
So as nice as Don may seem, no.
No. Because I know Don. I've spent so many years with Don and it sounds so right. Not everything, but like kind of. It's kind of funny to laugh at the things that match up. That's all.
Every like personality trait is not going to be the main one of it, but if you kind of mesh it all together, I would assume if you have like a Gemini rising with a Scorpio sun and an Aries moon, you have someone on the outside that's very happy-go-lucky, chatty, social, intellectual, but with his sun being very deep, he's into psychology, he's into the depths of people, he can take people that have a lot of, I don't want to say trauma, but he's not scared of that. And the moon sign, I mean, just action-oriented, impulsive, like decisive. can be volatile with his emotions, maybe more so to himself. And also on top of that, the moon sign can represent your mother. But
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So sometimes what they'll say is that if Aries is the fighter, you can kind of get an idea of maybe what your emotional upbringing may have been when it came to your mother.
Hold on. Before we continue, I need to write what is your primary sign down, just so that I remember this. Because everything is going too fast.
Scorpio. So that's his sun.
Okay, what is his rising?
Gemini.
Okay, we know the last one. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And so sometimes your rising also can have something to do with what you look like also. Your rising ends up being the sign that rules your first house, which is the house of self. So that's a whole nother kind of systems, the houses.
Mm-hmm.
So if the planets were the actors, the houses are the scenes of the parts of your life where those actors are playing in.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
If Gemini is ruling your first house, Geminis are known to be just like cheeky. They are actually very childish. They tend to look young, happy-go-lucky. You'll really rarely see a Gemini rising that's brooding. They always look happy. They're always smiling. Cheeky.
Okay.
We'll go through that first, the first three, and then let's do yours, Gabe.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can go into like the other planets to see what they mean. All right. So you must pay another $50, please. I'm just kidding.
No problem, cuz I can Venmo you right away.
Okay, so Gabe, so your sun is in Libra.
I have to write this.
Yes, that's the true you and your main personality. So Libras, they tend to be very diplomatic. They like balance. They like fairness. They love beauty. Who doesn't love beauty?
I do love beauty.
Generally, they don't like arguments. They don't like harshness. They don't like bad behavior. So that's your sun. Okay. Now, your rising. So your rising is in Leo. That tends to make a statement. Let's just put it that way. So Leos, they're ruled by the sun, and that's your rising. So the way you may come off to people is very like maybe sometimes in your face.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. They like to shine. They like to be the center of attention. So
yeah.
they may be the loudest one in the room. They may be the one that's just like making their way around the room, making sure everyone knows that they're there. They're dramatic. They have a flair. The way they tend to dress is also, I think I mentioned this before, kind of gaudy. So they look good in golds, patterns. Yeah. And so what I was saying is that with that Leo rising with the sun in Libra, you're kind of meant for the spotlight. Like you are meant to shine. Like you're meant to be out there entertaining people. That's the best way I could put it. So Leo risings are entertaining. The thing about Leo risings, though, is that because of their dramatic, they can have tantrums when things don't go their way.
Agreed.
They could have tantrums when things don't go their way just because they feel like they know what they want and they want it now. It's just they think that the world revolves around them. Or they want the world to revolve around them. But your moon is in Virgo.
Okay.
So with the moon being in Virgo, it's a very self-serving sign. So they tend to serve people a lot. They tend to tend to them a lot. They like perfectionism. But the downside to that is that they can be very critical, or people could be very critical about them. Like I said, the moon can represent the mother. So, I mean, I don't want to go too much into that, but maybe you grew up with kind of like a critical upbringing, or you always had to just look out for how you talked, how you dressed, how you acted. It's just there's just something very critical around that moon, Virgo being in the moon sign.
Yes.
But on top of that, like I said, Virgos and moon signs are very practical, very loyal, logical, and what else? And yeah, and they like to serve. Like these Virgo placements are people who like to serve other people. They're into health. They're very much into health routines, like that kind of predictability. So yes, So that's what I got for you, at least for your top three, your big three. What do
No,
you think about that?
I agree. Not to, I don't know. It almost sounds a little like, what is the word when you just believe anything?
Suggestive?
Not to sound like that at all, or biased or gullible. No, a lot of it does apply to me. I always felt like I'm critical of myself. Dawn knows this. There wasn't anything that she said that wasn't necessarily wrong. Kind of checks like almost every single fucking box.
I mean, yeah, like the way that I look at astrology really is that it's not like you take pieces of it that kind of help you explain yourself. Like you, as Nikki said, you kind of like mesh it all together and you find like it creates pretty much you. This wombo combo for me of like Aries, Gemini, and Scorpio, I feel like it's very unique. And not that I'm bold enough to really talk about myself like that, but I do feel like in a certain sense, I am a little different than other Scorpios, but I think in a way that just makes it great for me. You know, it doesn't make me better or worse than other people, but it explains a lot of things about like my personality. And I think it works really well for you too. As you dive into the nitty gritty of the charts, then it tells you a little bit more about yourself and how you view the world.
No,
How you
I get it. When you say that I like being the center of attention, I always thought, like even growing up, I always thought that I was going to be somebody, that people would know me for just whatever. Not that I would always go for trying for it, but my behaviors kind of match that. So
that's how I felt like too, because I'm a Leo sun. It's not, and it's not a bad thing that Leos tend to be the center of attention. Like we're not always seeking that, but it's something about our energy that reminds other people like, hey, you can shine too. You know, it's like we try to bring out the light in others and let people know, like, be confident, like show your talents. And so it's not that we're always centering it on us, but I think people who are like people that know us and appreciate us, we kind of bring that confidence and light to them.
No, I agree.
That's the beauty of being a Leo. And Scorpios, I mean, they always say Scorpios are very powerful. Like if I wasn't a Leo, I'd probably want to be a Scorpio because they're very magnetic. Yes, they tend to be very magnetic and intense. It's kind of scary, I guess, for certain people. If you are scared of that kind of depth, it can scare people, and that's why people look at Scorpios like, ooh, ah. They're powerful. Like they can also manipulate to get where they want to go and do what they want to do. And
oh my God, as a Scorpio, like when I think about all the positive and negative traits, if you would, right? I think the one that I tried my best to really work at like resolving better is like this sense of brooding when things aren't going my way. Like I tend to kind of just be like, like, why are you in like such a weird mood? I'm just like, because I want something to happen and it's not happening the way I want it to. And there's a part of me who is, and as you kind of pointed out, someone who is a little like action oriented. And I think as I've grown up, I've learned to be a lot more patient about things. But I could tell you that like things that you don't really see about me sometimes is that, yeah, I can be pretty impatient. Like there are things that I want to accomplish. There's parts of me who has a sense of perfectionism and executing in a very particular way. And when things don't kind of happen immediately or the way I want it to, I can't help but be a little like mostly introspective and kind of like angry at myself because part of me wishes that I could be better at just addressing it and doing things. So yeah, as a Scorpio, I see a lot of like, I see myself being very Scorpio while also simultaneously not really being Scorpio-like in certain ways, and which is why I'm like so like intrigued by like my ascendant and my moon, which help balance out that persona of mine, you know?
yeah. Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, when I was looking at your chart, you actually have a Scorpio stellium. So what that means is that when somebody has more than like has 3 or more planets in a certain sign, then that means you really tend to express that energy. You also had your Mercury in Scorpio. So let's just go through the planets really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about the placements, like your sun is in Scorpio, your moon is in Aries. So you also have these different planets that represent different areas also, just like the houses. Like your Mercury represents your communication. the way you process things, the way you analyze things. And it's in Scorpio. Like I mentioned already, like the Scorpio, they tend to unravel things. They tend to like the psychology of things. So when you have a communication style that's in Mercury, you tend to talk about like deep things, or maybe talk about dark things, maybe taboo things, maybe sexual things.
Hey, yo.
And your Mars is also in Scorpio, which is actually it's a pretty good sign. So each sign has a ruling planet. And when that sign is in the planet that it feels most comfortable in, then you tend to express that energy pretty well. So your Mars is your passion, your drive, your action, even like sexually. That's why some people that made Dawn is just a depraved deviant.
No, I'm laughing because of the way that you said it. Like, you're the one that started laughing first. Yeah.
That's why I say someone who has a certain love style may not be interested sexually in that same kind of way. You know what I mean? So like your Venus represents your love style, what you're attracted to, and your Venus is in Capricorn. So let me just say something, because I think we all care about love. So
of course,
your Venus being in Capricorn tends to show a personality that is always in it for the long haul. Like you're really not into short relationships or just messing around. Like you're always looking towards the future and building a future. Yeah, you may have like your escapades or whatever, but it's really hard to pin a Venus in Capricorn down. Once they pin you down, you are very loyal.
Huh.
And Venus and Capricorns tend to like women that are successful, sometimes tend to like women that are a little bit older, just like women who seem to have it together. But like I said, your Mars is in Scorpio. So like attraction wise, you may like messy people. You might like messy situations. Like that's what excites you. But generally, like your heart and your love, stability, like you need and you want someone stable. But what's going to excite you down there probably is someone who's like dangerous, kind of
they don't have it together.
Not just don't have it together, but they may have like troubles, and I don't know. That's what's showing up here for me.
Wait, when you're talking about troubles, like what? Like what kind of troubles?
Okay. Well, so when I think about Scorpio, I think about people who I don't want to say have psychological problems, but they may have some sort of trauma.
Okay.
Some sort of complicated situation. Someone who like lives on the edge a little bit. I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, this explains a bit of like my past history. But go on.
But you're probably going towards your Mars. You're probably just like acting on instinctual like attraction. But your Venus, like what really your heart is aching for is really someone who's stable.
It's true.
Because that's what you're going to offer.
That's true.
That makes sense.
Consistency, stability. I mean, hey, you may not even be the most grand of like a person when it comes to like gifts and like showiness, but acts of service is definitely your love language, and you're just in it for the long haul.
It's like a golden retriever lover. I don't know what that shit is called. You know what I mean? Golden retriever boyfriend.
Not really. I think that would be more like Venus and Libra, I would say.
Okay.
What's Gabe's?
Oh, Gabe. All right. Let's look at Gabe.
Oh, no. All right. We have to write some of this shit down. I literally have it like...
Do you think you're going to fit that all in there?
No, hell no. But I got the good stuff. I got Don's
Gabe's literally going to get all these Post-its and put it on his computer.
Yeah, come on.
Just like...
See, like, and I'm trying so hard to like condense it together without sounding all over the place. It's
no, you're doing
hard.
You're doing
job,
amazing. You're doing
like,
amazing.
amazing.
Oh my God.
Like,
thanks,
I would
guys.
think the only thing that I probably will ask, which might be like an after hours episode, would just be more of like, yeah, what is the degrees in certain like planets and alignment? But
okay, after we
Gabe.
Yeah.
All right, so remind me. Libra, Leo rising, and what?
Virgo moon.
Virgo moon. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go.
He's gonna put it on his Hinge profile.
Be careful, ladies. You gotta watch out. You have to be. Come on now.
And then we'll talk about like compatibility in a little bit, like when it comes to that. Because remember, each sign has a certain element, and certain elements just go well together, better than others.
Got you.
Your Venus is in Scorpio. Like I said, Venus represents love, how you want to be loved, how you love others. And the fact that it's in Scorpio means that it's very deep. Love for you is very deep. It could be possessive almost. It could be obsessive. Also a very kind of sexual kind of sign, like sex is very important to you in your relationships, to the point that maybe sometimes the significant other would be like, is this all you want? Or like, is this all you think about? So each sign rules a certain body part, and Scorpio rules the genitals and the reproductive system. So it's not just that like Scorpios are just like horn dogs. It's because they really represent a certain part of the body, and it's the genitals. So it's natural to them.
Yes. We keep it adult here.
Yes. So like I said, Venus being in Scorpio, I imagine that the way you love is that you want like all of this person, like you almost want to devour them. You can get obsessed with them like very easily. Either they're possessive about you or you're a very jealous and possessive person in love. You can get hurt very, very easily and almost like close off. But the messiness doesn't scare you. You'll stay for the long haul because, like I said, Scorpios are not scared of the messiness. They're there for the trauma, for the people with trauma. And that's why sometimes people with Venus and Scorpio will end up with people that like have a lot of trauma or have a lot of issues, because Scorpio is the sign that can handle that. If there is any sign that can handle that. And your Mars being in Libra, so like that's very different. Libra is a very like graceful, diplomatic, like I said, just a very fair kind of lover. So your Mars being in Libra also shows me that you tend to be very giving, very peaceful. You don't like to argue. You did say you're decisive, but I don't know. That's probably your Mercury in Virgo. But when it comes to love, like sex, I imagine that. Do we want to know about this?
Yeah, of course.
We'll keep it simple. That it's like a very romantic kind of thing. Like Mars and Libras are kind of romantic in that sense. Just like when I see Libras or when I see a Libra sign, I just think about like this beauty kind of sign. They're ruled by Venus. So anything beautiful, anything fair, sweet, romantic, and that's in your sign of Mars, of passion and all that. So if you put that together, it's not very raunchy, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So, I mean, even though you like a lot of sex in your relationship because of the Venus and Scorpio, like that is almost like your love language, like the physical touch. Your Mars in Libra is telling me that you're more just like of a romantic kind of person, like a more kind of sweet kind of person in relationships. I don't know. What do you think about that? And also you don't like to fight or argue.
You know, I have a history of, not that I have a history of fighting. That sounds a little bit like, yo, this guy's a fucked up guy. History says that there have been a lot of arguments in my, relationship discography. I think I've grown to hate arguing, especially after everything. Like I hate arguing. I'd rather not even do it. I know you mentioned something about like to the point of shutting down. Maybe like there'll be times in which I want to be like, oh, this is too much. I got to walk out of the room. But you also said something about I was there for the trauma. So in which case that's hella fucking true. I'm not even going to go divulge into that. But yeah, I agree with a lot of it.
I think as we're younger, they also say this, that we express our unevolved traits of the signs. Because, each sign is not all bad. When people look at Scorpio and you're like, oh, you're all bad. But they're talking about the unevolved traits, right? Like the jealousy, the possessiveness, the obsessiveness. But truly, Scorpio in its very evolved signs, they're very loyal. Like I said, I say this word a lot. They have a lot of depth. They can uncover secrets, or they're great detectives. I mean, it's just whatever we all probably were going through before, where we were expressing our unevolved traits is just that.
I had someone tell me straight up, oh yeah, you know Gabe, like he loves beauty out of nowhere. So it's kind of funny. Like I do like beautiful things. I know it's like hard to describe what that really means. I do like beautiful things. I like attractive things. And when it comes to that whole sex talk, I guess there's no other way to say it. My intercourse of enjoyment is like a very romantic and passionate of kind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Scorpios are very passionate, but with the Libra in there, I can see what I was trying to say about the romantic approach to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. So people that tend to have Venus in their charts tend to like art, tend to like music, tend to have very beautiful dressing styles, like soft fabrics. Just the colors are very fair. And that's what I get from your chart.
Don't make me blush right now. Come on.
It's pretty spot on, I gotta say.
Right?
Well, look, yeah, I think it's...
Yes.
There are things that we can easily pick, from it that we're just like, oh, that's definitely me. But at the same time, just being grounded, like, I think we also try to find things that we align with. But yeah, like, I feel like it pretty much hits it on the nose for the most part. It means it's out there for the rest of the world to hear about, like, oh, what am I? But then again, I was always, like, candid about, like, my sign and, like, my time. Like, I always knew what it was. So it's like, hey, if you really want to read my chart, boosh, here you go. Feel free to read all my charts. No, seriously, I had no problem. Yeah.
Because now some girls that are, like, aiming to get you guys, they're like, okay, dress beautiful and talk about sex. You know what I mean? They know the math.
Sweet whisperings to Gabe's here. Oh, hello. I'm wearing Chanel.
Right?
One of my favorite movies is The Matrix, and it has to deal with a character who does not, he's supposed to become like this godlike figure, the one, but he is told he's not because he doesn't believe. And it's until he does believe in which it is true, right? I ended up, after doing all of my research on astrology, I asked ChatGPT, I said, is astrology real? It ended up saying some shit like, no, it is not factually correct in any way, but it is real in a sense that if you believe it, then it becomes true. It's like almost like this weird thing that intrigues me that like, I don't want to sit here and go like, oh, Gabe is just agreeing to everything, but I don't know. There's just something about it is really all I'm saying.
What you're saying makes sense. And it's something that I started to believe like a while ago when certain things that like, I don't necessarily believe in manifestation, but I do believe that if you want something to happen and you really put your thoughts towards it, you don't even realize the little seeds and actions that you make, like the butterfly effect, almost lead you there.
100%.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll look around and be like, oh my God, I dreamed of this before. Like I've always wanted to live. Ooh, I'm not going to say where I live, but wherever I live right now, I came here a lot when I was younger. And I always told myself, I say, one day I'm going to live here. And I just didn't think it was possible. And all of a sudden, like years later, even when I wasn't really thinking about it, somehow I ended up here. I don't know. It's just, you got to believe.
You will into existence. Yeah.
100%. Like even going to the dermatologist, right? There's a crazy, stupid story. We'll make it quick. But I told her, I don't want no fucking creams. I want lasers. I want instant gratification, really, what I was trying to say to her. I didn't say that, but I want lasers. And she was like, nah, man, that can't work. She talked me into using the creams and whatnot. And I was using it. But for whatever reason, really, I believed it. I just knew that for what it was going to work this time. Like I've done it my whole entire life. And it, for me, has done nothing. I don't know why. Now, because I believe it, it kind of became true. Not that my skin's perfect. My skin's terrible, but it's way better than it was before. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, Don. What do you think about believing in things happening? I mean, some people are a little bit more cynical than others, and I'm not saying you're cynical, but what do you think about that?
When I think about astrology, I think I remember talking about this with a friend one time, and he was of the mind that it's the P.T. Barnum effect, which the P.T. Barnum effect is pretty much this idea that you cherry pick the things that people are saying, but it's also just generalizations that allow you to simply just be like, oh yeah, like that totally makes sense, even though it's just really a generalization. Astrology, I've always found like a fun thing to talk about. whether it's completely spot on or at the same time being perhaps not completely spot on, I think there's something that we can kind of get out of it. Sure, there are things that seem a little outlandish, things that seem a little bit too on the nose. And we're also looking for truths in the reality that we live in, right? This is kind of why we pursue these different avenues of like just trying to find like our reason for being or explaining why things are the way they are. I don't like to be cynical about that because I don't like to also be someone who is going to dissuade people from like what they believe in necessarily. I mean, obviously, if there's certain things that are factual, but this is something that I think we're just looking for a way to kind of help us explain our world that we live in and how we kind of deal and cope with things. Again, I've always found this to be a fun conversation topic, and not everything that you read on like daily horoscopes, like, oh, Mercury's definitely in retrograde. That's explaining why like the world's kind of like crap right now. It's like, yeah, that tends to be kind of like the default, but you don't have to take everything for pure face value because there's so much going on in our world that I think also adds to that. So you take the best from it to give you like some idea of what your world is going through and what you feel like it's leading up to. Don't let it be the reason why it stops you from making a choice. Like, it's going to give you some context to what you do, but never let it influence how you decide to move, you know? And I think that's really what I take from astrology, is that it should be something for you to think about, but don't let it dictate who you are. Like, don't be bound by these things ultimately, right? What do you think?
Agree.
Yeah, I agree. There was a point in time where a lot of things were happening and I would find myself saying, oh, it's because of blah, 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 like astrology. It's because of my blah, blah, blah. And then I had to tell myself, let me stop blaming that, you know?
Let me chill a little bit with that.
Yeah, let me chill a little bit. It just sucks right now, right? Thanks. But it'll get better. I just try to take the positive things more so from anything that comes my way, I think.
Out of curiosity, what are your big three? Because we talked about Gabe and I, but I am very curious to know yours.
Yes. Well, let me tell you. Yeah. I'm all different elements. I think you are also the same way.
We are related.
We are.
We are. We're 3 out of 4
look
elements.
At us. We look the same. We actually kind of look the same, I think. I don't know.
I think when we were kids, we definitely looked a lot. No, actually, even in most recent, like my birthday photos, I think we look really alike.
We do. We give off the same vibes.
Yeah.
My sun is in Leo. No surprise there. My rising is in Aquarius, which actually makes a lot of sense because I'm an alien. Aquariuses tend to be the aliens of the zodiac.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm an alien.
This makes a lot of sense.
Those are good glasses.
And I mean that in a really, really cool way. Yeah. All right, continue.
Yeah. And my moon is in Pisces, which explains why I'm very sensitive. I mean, I think that was my downfall. I think if we all look at our moon signs, especially from when we were a child, it kind of explains why we were so uncomfortable with ourselves and what made us uncomfortable and why life was hard. Pisces moon tend to basically be like an exposed nerve. We're just very sensitive people. But the upside to that is that we tend to be very empathetic towards people, but we sometimes can't separate their feelings, especially if it's negative, with ours. Like, we feel it as if it's our own feelings. And then it's like we absorb it so much that we almost relate to that mood now. And it's hard to detach, which is ironic because my rising sign is a very detached sign. So like I said, Aquariuses tend to be the aliens of the zodiac. So we tend to be kind of rebellious, kind of detached a little bit, kind of weird, actually, very weird. They even say that Aquarius risings tend to be ugly when they're younger, but they tend to look better as they're older.
Really?
Am I allowed to say that about myself? Yeah, because Aquariuses are very odd. That's just the consensus about it. It's like Aquariuses just tend to like beat to their own drum. They're odd. They say out of pocket stuff, you know? And when you're younger, you're very much not comfortable with that. But as I've gotten older, I very much embrace this uniqueness and oddities about myself, and I just rock it. You know, I'll talk about me liking ghost and the Ouija board and astrology and all that. And sometimes it weirds people out, you know?
Okay. Okay.
The thing that gets a little confusing is because, so you have opposite signs. So every sign has the complete opposite, and they call that an opposition. So if you look at the wheel, there's angles. And the sign that's directly opposite of yours is your opposite sign. So it's like,
Right. I'm familiar with that. Like, I was going to say, like, I think my opposite is Taurus.
yes, I believe, hold on, Gabe. So your sun is a Libra. So hold on. I have my notes. I don't know why I forgot this.
Opposite.
Hold on, wait.
Opposite.
Aries. I think it's, is it an Aries?
That's what they said in Instagram.
It is Aries, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's your complete opposite sign. My sun is in Leo and my rising is on the complete opposite sign. So like I was mentioning, the Leo is the sign of self, right? The world revolves around us, but my rising is everything that doesn't have to do this with self and has everything to do with the community. So imagine how that opposition confuses me sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, should I shine? Or should I just sit here in the corner and let everybody else shine?
Have you ever felt conflicted?
I actively try to share the spotlight. I love you, my friends. I love you. I really do. In case they're listening. But I actively say, like we're singing karaoke, I am actively giving them the mic while deep inside I'm like, oh man, I want to keep singing. Like, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
so
man,
funny.
like, I feel it so bad. But I'm sharing the mic because I know that I have to include everyone and allow everyone to shine and be
Got you.
mindful of like the collective. So as I'm getting older, I'm allowing myself to do that more than sitting here and brooding on what I think I need, me all the time, all that. That's, I think, as all of us, we're kind of growing into that.
What is your moon?
Oh, so with my moon being in Pisces, so actually there's a lot of celebrities with their moon in Pisces.
Okay.
And it that's another sign that could be very volatile because Pisces is the sign of delusion. It's the sign of delusion, dreams, intuition, feelings. They're ruled by Neptune. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune, like I said, is the sign of illusions. A lot of people with Pisces placements, they tend to be very creative. Like there's a lot of celebrities with Pisces placements and moon in Pisces, like Michael Jackson has moon in Pisces. I mean, there's a lot of actors. But they also tend to have problems with like substance abuse because, like I said, I don't have substance abuse issues, but because
yes, you got me worried there for a second. I'm like, do I not know some shit?
Because, like I said, because they're ruled by Neptune, they like to delude their world, you know, of all the sensitive feelings that they're feeling that they can't seem to manage. You know, growing up, oh my God, I had so much feelings and emotions. I mean, I don't know if Don even really remembers that, but a lot of things hurt a lot. And when you're hurt, you hurt people, right? Hurt people hurt other people. That's what they say.
Hurt people hurt other people.
Oh, wait, was it?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Hurt people hurt people.
I don't really remember it too much growing up with you because I always felt we had like a good relationship. Not that we haven't had our fights. God, I remember when like we were like kids and we were literally like, I don't even know what got us like riled up, but I think you and I were like basically clawing at each other in your house. Like we were like literally biting each other and we're like 4 years old. And I don't even know
it was. Is it weird that I do remember that the one and only fight me and Don had, and actually it was at your house, and we were playing, I think it was Monopoly, where you get all the money.
Yeah.
And you were getting all the money. And then I was trying to grab the money from you and you were grabbing it from me. And then I hit you. And then I started crying. You don't remember that, do you? I never forgot that.
No, I don't. Oh my God.
Cute.
Because ever since then, I never wanted to fight with you again. Like, Don was just, yeah, I didn't want to argue with you.
I'm sorry. I was a little shit back then.
It was me.
Hey, time out. It takes two to tango. Look, we're, if anything, we're both being immature for whatever reason. And I will take ownership over where I was wrong, so
Yeah, so those are my placements, and
Mhm.
it's not a very easy kind of combination, but
Hmm.
they do make for a very weird person. What's up?
Oh, I think the same way. Like, I feel like my combo is like Gemini and Aries and Scorpio. I feel like the three crazies somewhat balance each other out, but who knows? Knock on wood.
I think our rising signs though together. So that's what I was talking about, the elements, that certain elements they just mesh well together. So
Hmm.
fire and air tend to go well together, right? Because fire and
Hmm.
air stirs it up. And water and earth signs tend to go well together, the groundedness and
Yeah.
the emotions. So the fact that all of our rising signs, are air and fire, I think we got a good thing going on, I'd say.
Okay.
I am very curious to hear what people say in the comments. But
I know they're
yeah,
gonna be like, "You're all wrong. This is all wrong."
y'all are crazy. Yeah, you Scorpios, you crazy guys, you crazy girl.
Seriously, they're like off with their heads.
Yeah.
And lastly, our Mercury, because we talk a lot, right? That's our communication styles.
Mhm.
Um, Me and Gabe's Mercury sign is in Virgo, and yours is in Scorpio. So that's earth and water. So that's probably why we can talk about the deep things that we do and talk about it in depth. So I just feel like our sign placements are making for a good kind of combination with each other. But that's just me.
Gotcha.
I'm
No,
grateful for that.
I think so too. I don't need to know astrology for that. I know it's good. I feel it's good. Do you guys think it's good? Like for real? Outside of astrology?
I think
Yeah.
it's good, but
Okay.
so a thing that so this is just a slight segue away from this, but have you guys watched like Avatar: The Last Airbender?
A little bit, bits and bops.
No.
Okay. Well, to make a very long story short, I think it does go about the elements because the avatar has to be a master of all four elements, like fire,
I know
water,
where you're going
earth,
with
and air.
this. Yes.
So, in a way, I think I've learned to get context about how different signs work, knowing that like water and earth work well together because they're both grounded, muted. They say negative, but I think it's more of like they're like not so outgoing. They tend to be a little bit more on the reserve side, right? And then air and fire work well together because they're both outgoing signs. Oxygen gives fuel to like fire, if you would, right? And so I've learned to kind of do my own form of interpretation for the signs that are kind of sort of diametrically opposite with each other. So, for example, water and air are technically diametrically opposite, but they're both have an element of oxygen in them. So I feel like there's some commonality that I can find, even though they are very different. I say this having like really close friends who are Aquariuses, and they're very different, and I love them to death. But there are things I know that we've bumped heads about in the past. You think about fire and earth, right? And fire and earth are two signs that probably wouldn't get along well because you would think that the earth would kind of put out a fire, right? But then there are kind of things I've thought elementally kind of switch that up a bit. Like I think about lava. Lava is fire and earth. So long story short, with this segue of mine, I feel like, you think about how elements work, how they technically work against each other, but I've learned to find my way where they can kind of work together, even though they're not quite on the same page with each other. I feel like there's a way for each other to kind of like find some common ground, if you would.
Some commonalities.
And hence why I totally endorse you should watch Avatar, because you guys probably know how much I love that series, but I feel like it gives a good example of how like the elements work, and also a good way
I'm
for you
down.
to figure out zodiac signs and how they
Mm.
kind of work with each other. So
Okay, I'm definitely down to watch it. I like that because I think at the end of the day, whatever they're showing on Avatar is kind of just like an ancient kind of knowledge, right? Like the fifth element.
yeah, yeah.
Remember that movie?
Oh
Of
god,
course
I
I
love the
do.
Fifth Element.
I was just thinking that, we should dress
Mhm.
up for Halloween next Halloween. I should be, what the fuck is his name? Chris Tucker. What's
Ruby,
his character's name?
Ruby Rod.
Ruby Rod. Let's go.
Oh my god,
That's
that
so
would be so
me.
fun.
Come on.
Oh my
And then
god,
you
I'll
have
be
to be
Lilu.
the opera singer. Oh, perfect. I was about to say the opera singer.
Oh, I could be the opera singer. Like
That's
she's
a
like,
that's a cool costume. And then Don could be fucking what's his name? Die Hard. I'm so
Corbin
forgetful.
Dallas?
Corbin
Yes.
Dallas.
Corbin
bro.
Dallas.
Let's go.
big bada boom.
Bada boom. Lilu Dallas multipass. I love how we all love this movie, and that was another movie we used to watch a lot growing up too.
I love
Oh my
him.
god.
It's my favorite movie.
movie's
Yeah,
so good.
it's so deep now that you looking back on it. But yeah, it's such a good movie. Oh, Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Imagine like that's what they seriously thought that the future was gonna look like. Where's our flying cars?
Right? The Chinese food store that flies to you. Fast food restaurant. That'd
The
be so
Chinese
sick.
boat that flies over to you,
Yeah.
and then when the police come over and just like, negative, I'm a meat popsicle.
Or the eye makeup thing where they just went like that. Do you remember that? Or is that
Yeah.
the girls only remember that?
The eye makeup.
There's that, and like the auto
Oh yeah,
shower.
yes.
When they put it
The
there.
auto
it's just- yeah, I love thinking about the future. I think that's an Aquarius thing too, is that that's why I was that for Halloween, just kind of like a futuristic cosmopump. I just like things that have to do with the future and thinking about like futuristic stuff. Like my favorite movies are like post-apocalyptic worlds or like utopian kind of worlds. I don't know.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yes, I know. I am one. No, of course, absolutely.
I believe
There's
in aliens.
no way. There's no way it's just us. We are a speck on a wall.
There's no way that we're like the only beings in existence, you know?
Yeah. And not just that, I feel like as Earth beings, we may always just be that, like Earth beings. Whatever aliens, world or, life there is
Whatever
out
is
there.
out there. Yeah.
They may be way more advanced than us, and we may never get to their level of advancement. We're just not meant to. They may also not have the emotions that we have, and they will never have it. It's just, we're just like a
That's
whole different
true.
species. Yeah, we're a whole different species, and we're on our own level, and so are they.
We could be ants to them. They don't give a fuck about us. Or like just
Mhm.
exactly like you said, like they have no emotion. They don't even care. They're just like, nah,
It's like
there's
that
no way we're gonna go
scene
visit them.
from like Men in
Mhm.
Black, the first movie, where like you see our galaxy and it just ends up being like this galaxy's inside of a marble, and like, just
Which some
like,
gigantic
aliens
alien
are-
kid is playing with it and
gigantic,
shit.
like playing marbles, basically. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It's never ending. And I really wish that we could meet them or see them, or at least tangibly know that they're there. That's the thing that breaks me inside. It's always that yearning to see what can't be explained and know what can't be explained.
I had a talk with, one of my buddies about this, and I think his explanation on why like we probably haven't seen like aliens or other beings from like outside of like our own realm is because of how vast our universe is. And if you kind of think of how fast light travels, between us and like the next galaxy is at least like hundreds of light years away, and that's like at the speed of light. So we haven't figured out a way for us to kind of traverse that, go to different universes, or not universes but galaxies, and hopefully, well, maybe not within our lifetime, but maybe somewhere down the road we might be able to travel to different like distant stars and be able to see different things. Part of me has always loved science fiction, right? Maybe at some point that science fiction can be a reality where we can travel and see different worlds outside of ours, right?
Someone would have to be super smart to figure that out. Like, so what is it? Like the dark matter physicist, right? I imagine the way to get to other parts of the world are through wormholes, like through black holes. But there has to be a way that these aliens are coming, because I do believe they come here to visit us and observe us or whatever it is. But how do they do it? That's the question.
Wormholes would be it. Wormholes, I mean, black holes would be like another different discussion in itself, but you need to be able to like bend the way that reality or like the fabric of reality is for us to kind of like leap us to like a different area of the world, faster than light,
Yeah.
And again, that's something I think we are trying to figure out, but it might be a while before we figure out the means to do so, right?
I think the only way that we're going to know that is if the alien life decides to kind of give us that information somehow.
It's like the movie Arrival with Jeremy Renner.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
Oh, you got to watch it. But basically, as you literally talked about the premise of the movie, but aliens arrive and teach like our species like the ability to communicate in like a different manner outside from like linear progression. And they're doing it to uplift us in a way that at some point we can help them and be alongside them, like in the galaxy and the stars. And that's the premise of Arrival. But
nice summary, Don. That was a good summary, I have to say.
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil it because I think it's really a really good watch and very philosophical because you start thinking about, again, time is not necessarily a linear progression, but maybe a circle. And you think about the way that reality
That's
works,
enough. That's
right?
enough. That's enough. That's
Anyway,
enough.
yeah, I
That's
shouldn't spoil
enough.
it
You're
anymore.
going too much now.
I'm going too deep. I get it so deep, and like
You're
I don't want to
spoil it now. Don't say that.
The amazingness of the movie, but it's a damn good movie.
Don't worry,
I'm
going to watch it tonight. Wait, so it's just funny you're talking about that because I didn't mean to talk about that. I remember when I was mentioning the Ouija board about knowing the future. So what I was thinking, and I think I've heard this, that the reason why the Ouija board may know the future or why people can predict the future is because it already happened, right? Like time is not linear, that everything already happened. Like at the time that I asked, I had already been married to him because in our perception, time's linear, but everything already happened, is happening all at once, right? Everything, everywhere, all at once. So I think once you can truly understand that and how time and space and all that is just like melded into one, we might fucking ascend to a whole nother reality, you know?
Oh, you gotta watch this movie.
I am. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
You gotta watch this movie. This movie gonna reinforce some of those things that you've been thinking about. Because
I'm gonna be looking out, like trying to talk to aliens. You're not gonna hear from me for like 2 weeks.
Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning into this episode of the Dualcast. I am joined by my co-hosts Gabe and Nikki.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. We love you all, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
Laters.